Hi everyone, it's Melissa, and today I am going to share with you the 20 books on my list for the Booktube Spin number 5. This is the first spin of 2022. I will link down in the description Rick McDonnell's original video, kind of explaining what this is about. But essentially, he's going to spin a wheel and I'm going to read one of these books, and you can join in too. Just post your list somewhere publicly. Normally, I'm someone who makes a TBR and sticks with it, but for the last couple of months, I've been needing to mood read, which is not very like me. So these are just all books that I'm in the mood for right now. So I have 5 nonfiction books that I'll start with. The first, so book number 1 on my list, is Cosmos by Carl Sagan. So this is just like a classic in scientific nonfiction, and I am really in the mood for some spacey stuff right now. I figured I might give that a try. Book number 2 is a memoir, Heartberries by Therese Marie Mailhot. So the author is from the Seabird Island Indian Reservation in British Columbia, and this talks about her difficult upbringing. It talks about her struggle with PTSD and mental illness, and she began writing this while she was hospitalized, and I think it might read a little bit almost like journal entries, I'm not sure, but I'm always in the mood for a memoir. Book number 3 is Death on Earth by Jules Howard. I am very interested in all things death and mortality, and this is looking at death through kind of a scientific or evolutionary lens, is how I understand it. So that's book number 3. Book number 4 is Being Mortal by Atul Gawande. Again, another book about death, but this is looking at death through the lens of the medical system. I've heard nothing but like rave reviews of this. Book number 4. Book number 5 is Between Two Kingdoms by Sulake Jouad. And this is a memoir dealing with her cancer diagnosis and treatment, and then a road trip she takes, I think maybe after she's recovered from cancer. This actually was given to me, or I'm borrowing it from my sister-in-law who read it and recommended it. So those first 5 are the nonfiction, and I'm going to bring down the fiction. One of the things I'm in the mood for is kind of like fairy tale, folklore, retelling type of stuff. So the first few are kind of in that vein. So what's this? So book number 6 is Wicked by Gregory Maguire. This is a retelling, or maybe not retelling, but it's about the Wizard of Oz, but specifically about the Wicked Witch of the West. I haven't seen the musical. I don't really know anything about this at all. Yeah, in the mood for kind of that like retelling, kind of like fairy tale type of vibe right now. Book number 7 also feels kind of fairy tale-esque, and that's Stardust by Neil Gaiman. I know nothing about this one. My husband just keeps bugging me to read it, so this is number 7 on the list, and I am kind of in the mood for that kind of tone or atmosphere of book. Another very fairy tale-like book is book number, what are we on, 8? And that's Goldeline by Jimmy, I don't know if it's Cajulius or Cajulius. So this is a middle grade novel about a girl called Goldeline, and she kind of lives with or works with these, I think they're like a band of thieves. Her mother had been accused of being a witch, and now they think Goldeline's a witch, so it has kind of those like witchy fairy tale type of vibes, and again, I'm in the mood for that right now. Book number 1, yet another fairy tale inspired book. This is The Hazel Wood by Melissa Albert. So this is about a young woman whose grandmother was a writer of fairy tales, and her grandmother passes away and leaves her house or her estate called the Hazelwood. But this, I don't know the protagonist's name, Alice, fitting. Alice is left a message from her mother saying stay away from the Hazelwood. I think her mother is like kidnapped or disappears or something. So, I mean, as you can tell from the cover, it looks very, very fairy tale-like. Book number 10 is Hunted by Megan Spooner. This is a Beauty and the Beast retelling. I'm pretty sure it's YA. The cover looks YA. And again, I'm in the mood for retellings right now. Also, this is a very wintry book, so of course it feels like the perfect time of year to read something like that. So the next couple aren't really fairy tale like, but they have kind of that like winter feel to me. So the first one, this is book number 11, is Drive Your Plow Over the Bones of the Dead by Olga Tokarczuk, I think is how you pronounce her name. And this is one literally because it's just making me feel those like wintry feels, which is why I'm in the mood for it right now. Our protagonist is like learning about astrology, and she's kind of a recluse, and then one of her neighbors goes missing or turns up dead, and she's trying to solve the mystery. It sounds vaguely weird, but I'm okay with that. So that was number 11. So number 12 is The 13th Tale by Diane Setterfield. This one is just making me feel like winter because I think of the cover. It's kind of like those like old books, like antique bookstore fireplace. Like these are the vibes that this is giving me. This is about a young biographer who is called up by some very famous writer who I think is a bit of like a recluse, or very secretive or very private person anyway. And this is one that a lot of booktubers whose tastes are similar to mine have really enjoyed. So my last little stack of books are all science fiction because apparently that's what my brain wants right now, is some good sci-fi. So book number 13 is 2001 A Space Odyssey by Arthur C. Clarke. I've never read the book. I watched the movie many years ago, and it's just something I want to read because it's one of those like classic science fiction books, and I strongly suspect that it is much different from the movie. So that's number 13. I'm running out of room. Number 14 is The Long Dark Tea Time of the Soul by Douglas Adams. This is the second book in the Dirk Gently series, or I guess duology. This is like science fiction, but like also detective mystery and like humor. I like the first book. I'm sure I'll like the second book. I really enjoy Douglas Adams's writing. Book number 15 is Space Opera by Catherine M. Valente. This has actually been compared to Douglas Adams, or like compared to Hitchhiker's Guide, I guess, specifically. It's about like an intergalactic talent competition, I think. But it sounds just like a lot of fun. What really made me buy this was on the back it says, as if Ziggy Stardust went on a blind date with the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, then they got smashed and sang karaoke all night long. And I was like, sold, buying it. I heard about this from Sam at Paper Knot Books. It's one of her favorite books, and she talked about it, I think a couple different times, and I saw it at the bookstore, and I think that one's really going to be a lot of fun. Next on the list, number 16, is an anthology called Made to Order, Robots and Revolution. So it's edited by Jonathan Strahan, and I think it is what it sounds like. It's a bunch of short stories about robots and artificial intelligence, and that's what I'm in the mood for, some science fiction. Another short story collection, number 17, is Stories of Your Life and Others by Ted Chiang. I read his collection Exhalation in 2020, and it was one of my favorite books of the year. I love how he does speculative fiction. He really kind of looks at those like big, broad scope like questions about humanity and what it means to be a human, and I love that kind of stuff in speculative fiction. And so I will be shocked if I don't like this. If this is even a fraction as good as Exhalation, I will love it. Book number 18 is Kindred by Octavia E. Butler. This is science fiction, but kind of like historical fiction / science fiction, so there's time travel involved. But the main character keeps getting pulled back into the past, into like slavery era. I guess I should say she's a Black woman. That's relevant. And she keeps being pulled back to like slavery era and like 1800s, maybe 1700s. Doesn't matter. She's pulled back to a point in time where you definitely don't want to be pulled back to if you are a Black person. And she keeps getting pulled back in order to save a young white boy's life over and over again. It sounds like exactly my cup of tea. I love historical fiction. I love science fiction. And I haven't read any Octavia E. Butler, and I need to remedy that. Book number 19 is The Lathe of Heaven by Ursula K. Le Guin. I read one other Le Guin a couple years ago. It was The Left Hand of Darkness. So I was really interested to give her another try. This book is about a man who realizes that he can make his dreams reality or manifest things, something like that. And he goes to a doctor for help, and the doctor finds a way to like manipulate this man's dreams for his own benefit. So sounds like a little bit spooky. So we like that. We like a dark book here. So that's number 19. And the last book, number 20, is Axiom's End by Lindsay Ellis. I don't know much about this book. I think it's a first contact story. My husband bought this for me last year for my birthday, and I'm feeling kind of guilty that I haven't read it yet. But he bought it for me because we both enjoy Lindsay Ellis's video essays, and he knows I like science fiction. But yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a first contact story. So that's book number 20. Those are my 20 books for the Booktube Spin. If you are participating in the spin, please let me know, and I would love to go check out your lists. Thank you as always for watching, and we'll chat soon. Take care. Bye.